I read somewhere they propose underground parking on the park.
Correct.
Big park,
That's
underground
right.
parking,
Yeah.
and there's plenty of land here.
And I think they're prepared to fund that.
Yeah, I think so.
But your suggestion is objected by PDI. They want it to be here inside, not
Two housing areas in Segamat constituency. Number one is Taman Tun Dr. Ismail.
Opposite.
Yes, the other is Bukit Damansara, or they call it Damansara High. Both are all affluent areas. So on behalf of the Resident Association of Taman Tun, they told me to convey the message. They don't want any MRT station inside Taman Tun. Be it underground or above ground, they just don't want any MRT station inside Taman Tun. And as for the Bukit Damansara House Owners Association, they call it House Owner Association, they reserve their comment because they want a dialogue or meeting with the SPEC, the authority in charge of the MRT project. So I have made the request to the SPEC last week. Until now, we haven't heard anything, no reply from the SPEC. So before the residents, the House Owner Association of Bukit Damansara, before they have meeting with the SPEC, they won't give their support to this MRT project.
The Lembah Pantai constituency have communicated with me. They're also relatively not entirely against the MRT proposal, but they would like to meet up, and perhaps they will invite the media next week to inspect the site and the proposed suggestions, because again, some of the plans are they find it quite alarming. So that's for the Bangsa Putri condominiums who are also affected.
My first issue with the MRT developers is the fact that they conducted a public meeting in this area without inviting both the MP and the ADUN.
They have conducted already.
They did a meeting, and the shocking part of that was neither Elizabeth Wong, who is the ADUN for this area, and State Exco as well, and myself as the MP, were not invited. Now, I was accidentally given information about the MRT when I was present at a full board MPPJ meeting, where Gamuda, Spad, and the team showed up to do a briefing. And in that short 20 minutes, it was obvious there were some serious questions to be raised. Like what we're going to say about the location of the station here. There were questions being raised about the proposed location of stations. The stations start from RRI. This line has at least 4 or 5 stations in Subang Parliament itself, the Parliament area. Now, and when I asked them questions, and this is after the slide presentation, the PowerPoint presentation, why do you place the station here and not here, for example? The answer was, well, it's because there's another line coming, somewhere else. So that's when I learned that, of course, there were 2 other lines. They had names like yellow and green and circle line. Now, then I said, well, what's the location of the other line? And there was no information. So I said, how do you expect us to understand your rationale, your proposed rationale, where you are saying I'm locating the station in place X because the other line is supposed to cover a particular area, but you don't tell me where that other line is. So I said, isn't it obvious that you should come to this briefing? You have an idea of where you're going to build 3 lines. We are now discussing the first line, but the first line should not be taken out of, seen in isolation. It must be seen as in a holistic and comprehensive project. The MRT project is not about just the Sungai Buloh Kajang line, but this is what was shocking during that presentation, that they are rushing it. They've come just ready with details of 1 line, and they expect you to understand the whole project, because the cost the original cost of 36 billion was corrected in that briefing, and when we pressed them on the cost, they said, no, now we're looking at 50 billion. That was confirmed during that briefing. So that official figure of 36 is actually already no more applicable. But the shocking part is that 50 billion is not just for the Sungai Buloh Kajang line, that's about 11 kilometers, 50 over stations, cost about 11 billion. The balance of the cost is for the other 2 lines. But the biggest mystery is we do not know at this point where those 2 lines are. So how do you, for me it's shocking that you undertake this sort of massive, this is the biggest infrastructure project in the history of Malaysia, and you come to the public with partial information, and you try to you give half-baked rationales when you ask why you locate a station here by referring to 2 other lines which you haven't even drawn a map of. So, I mean, it points to a rushed job. Obviously, deadlines are becoming more important than getting it right, and I think that's so. This is, this is the problem that we're seeing with this project. We would ask, personally, I would suggest to Barisan Nasional, to the Prime Minister, whoever's making decisions, pull back, take a deep breath.
Stop order.
I don't know, exactly. I think issue a stop order to yourself, on this project.
Have parliamentary select committee.
Yeah. And exactly, I think YB Nurul Izzah has already floated the idea of a select committee. We appreciate that these things need to get done reasonably fast, but they shouldn't be rushed to the extent you make wasteful and half-baked, irrational decisions.
Before decisions are made. And the whole picture doesn't just include the other two lines for the MRT, but also where you're going to station your bus terminals, how your bus systems are going to integrate to the MRT system, the disposal network, and so on. You just cannot design a public transport system with MRT as a standalone. I think in my earlier statements I have already stated in Singapore, the MRT only forms 63% of the total bus passenger traffic. So it's not even the majority traffic, despite having a fully integrated network of trains. In Singapore, they only come up to 63% of buses. In Hong Kong, it's also about 70% of bus traffic, which means that buses actually carry more passengers than MRTs. But it's a synergistic. They have to work together. They are alternatives and they are synergistic. So without the bus portion of the public transport, it's very difficult to evaluate the MRT system. Okay, on my statement, no, it has already been reported that the proposed site for KL Central MRT, is it your area? Central?
Bordering, yeah.
In front, the KL Central MRT will not be in Central. It will be in front of the National Museum. So I think it's even further to walk from the National Museum to KL Central than from the KL monorail, which we complain are not integrated with KL Central. It's more than that. It's more than that. Likely to be more. So the proposed location risks making the same mistake as the location of KL Central monorail station, which is ludicrously disconnected from the hub. However, the KL Central MRT station isn't the only one that is sited at a baffling location. The Bandar Utama MRT station where we are today is similarly placed more than a kilometer away from the existing bus terminal which is currently catering to shuttle, feeder, stagecoach and intercity buses. Okay, it's a small terminal but it caters to a lot of these bus services. The BU MRT station is expected to be the busiest station in the northern part of the alignment, okay, with 46,900 passengers expected, and it's the 5th busiest of the entire stretch of 35 stations. Only Pusat Bandar Damansara, Pasar Seni, Pasar Rakyat and Plaza Phoenix are expected to cope with more passengers.
UMNO Malaysia!